Visor 2, who cares about him? No, he doesn't have anything, really. I mean, he's the main villain of Operation 9466 in The Deception. Afterwards, he's no threat ever again, and his fate is unknown at the end of the series, but no one really cares. And the final one, Visor 1, or Eva. Visor 1 was the highest ranking Uruk officer, and is the biggest threat. It is revealed later on that they planned a secret invasion due to children conceived by a former host that Visor 1 had. And this is quickly learned by the Council of 13, her superiors. She is to be questioned and executed. However, she frantically escapes Eva's body, and this happens when the Animorphs attempt to rescue Eva, and she, meaning Visor 1, is stomped to death by Marco. Speaking of all the Visors, or all the aliens in general, if you've ever wanted to know anything else about the Animorphs side stories, they're really interesting. You should go read them. There's Visor, which tells the story of Alaran Samitir Koras, and the Hork-Bajir Chronicles. God, I just hate how much I keep on saying Hork-Bajir. I'm totally ruining the name. Kay Applegate would be so mad at me if she knew this was how I was pronouncing it. Probably saying it so incorrectly. I'm sorry, Kay Applegate. I apologize. I can't be perfect, but I try. Anyway, they do have some allies aside from the 5 of them. Main reason they can't really have allies is because they don't know who's a controller and who's not. And they don't want to really take a risk. But eventually, they do meet a few Hork-Bajers that haven't been turned into controllers, like Jirahami. And that goes awkwardly. Yeah, that was a weird read. Weird read indeed. Anyways, they do have a huge group of more Animorphs called auxiliary Animorphs. They're pretty much disabled kids from hospitals that they give the morphing cubes. And since the morphing cube heals injuries, like, they'll be able to save the world and they won't be disabled anymore. Unfortunately, as a consequence, it doesn't always heal your injuries. So some of the kids were still left disabled even after morphing. So, yeah. That was unfortunate. Anyways, it's time to move on to the ending. Just in case you need a warning, spoilers. This is it. This is the end for them. I'll give you a couple more seconds to leave the video before I reveal all the events that happen. 3, 2, 1. The Animorphs destroy the Yerk pool, and make an alliance with a group of free Taxons. Along the way, Jake secretly plans to have Rachel take out the command ship, while the rest of the Animorphs take on the giant Yerk pool ship. Jake proposes to Cassie, even though they're only 16 years old. And Cassie declines. We'll find out why he did this later. But Rachel, Tom, Jerahemi, and the Taxon allies are all killed. In the end, Visor 3, or now Visor 1, is tried for war crimes and sentenced to life. And the Endolites leave a morphing cube for the rest of the Earth to use for terrorism. Also, if you want to know why Cassie was proposed to by Jake, it was to basically soften the blow of Rachel's death, not Cassie's death. I mean, she doesn't die yet. I mean, she'll die eventually. We all die someday. But let's not talk about that. Anyways, about 2 years later, an entity called the One has been spotted, and he attacked a group of Andalites, including Axe. And to combat this, Jake, Marco, and Tobias go into space, where they see Ack has been assimilated by the One. And with this, he split open part of Ax's face, giving him a mouth. So, well, they decide to do something reckless. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. Axe is aboard a blade ship. He's not just floating in space because his body would be sucked up and it would be useless. I mean, you gotta assume that vacuum of space stuff works for everyone, not just humans. And they decide to do something reckless. They take their ship, appropriately named the Rachel, after who else, and ram it into the One's blade ship. And that's how it ends. At least for now. That's where it actually ends, on a cliffhanger. So far, after, let's see, 14 years, there has been no talk of ever giving an ending, really. I mean, you could probably ask Katie Applegate. She has a blog, she has a Twitter. You could talk to her whenever you want. I did once. It was pretty amazing. And until we do get a continuation, that's pretty much it. They could have died, they could have not. You could think of it in as many ways as you want, but yeah, that's it, pretty much. That's it. That's the end of the plot, at least for now. So, till this thing gets a continuation, that's it for now. Next week, we will be talking about media spin-offs, such as the TV show, the video games, the toys, the game books, and anything else I forgot to mention here. Just not more of the plot. If you want to have like a further in-depth analysis of the plot, I'll leave a link in the description below to where you can watch pretty much every book summarized up, like all 54, like not all 54 together. That's what I was basically trying to do. But if you want to see each individual book summarized up, I will leave a link in the description for a YouTuber who has pretty much covered every book. So, like I said, Animorphs merchandising next week, and till then, this is Mr. No Name signing off. Good night.